The man who sued himself and won, sort of. In 1995, a man named Robert Lee Brock filed a lawsuit unlike any other. He was in jail in Virginia, serving time for breaking and entering. But then he decided to sue himself. Yes, Robert sued himself for $5 million, claiming he violated his own civil rights. His logic? He got drunk, broke the law, and that's on him. And since he's a ward of the state should pay for his mistake. But here's the twist. He demanded the state pay because he was unable to work due to imprisonment caused by himself. The court obviously dismissed the case, but not before the story made national headlines. It became a strange symbol of the American legal system's loopholes and creativity. In the end, Brock didn't win any money, but he did make history as the man who sued himself and almost made the government pay for it. The woman who sued McDonald's over spilled coffee and why she was right. In 1992, a 79-year-old woman named Stella Wybeck ordered a cup of coffee from a McDonald's drive-thru. She placed the cup between her knees to open the lid, and the coffee spilled. The coffee was 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to cause third-degree burns in seconds. Stella suffered burns on 16% of her body, including her thighs and groin. She was hospitalized for 8 days and needed skin grafts. She only asked McDonald's to cover her $20,000 in medical costs, but McDonald's offered just $800. So she sued, and the media lost its mind. But the case revealed McDonald's had received over 700 prior complaints about dangerously hot coffee. The jury awarded Stella $200,000 in damages, reduced to $160,000. And they added $2.7 million in punitive damages to punish McDonald's. That amount was later reduced, and the parties settled privately for less. For decades, people mocked the case, thinking it was about greed. But really, it was about corporate responsibility and severe injury. Today, it's a landmark case in tort law and a lesson in not jumping to conclusions. The Ghost House Case. Can you sue for a haunted house? In 1991, a man named Jeffrey Stembowski bought a charming old Victorian house in New York. But what the seller didn't mention was that the house was famously haunted. The previous owner had told ghost stories to the press and even gave haunted house tours. Stembowski sued, not for ghosts, but for not being told about them. The court agreed, ruling the house was legally haunted. Why? Because the ghost story had already been made public. The ruling didn't confirm ghosts were real, just that a buyer should have been warned. The case became famous as Stembowski v. Ackley, or simply the Ghostbusters ruling. It changed real estate law. Now, sellers must disclose if a home is psychologically stigmatized. So yes, in America, you can sue for buying a haunted house. Monkey selfie lawsuit. Who owns a monkey's photo? In 2011, a curious macaque in Indonesia stole a photographer's camera and took a selfie that would become world famous. The photographer, David Slater, claimed he owned the photo. But animal rights activists argued the monkey took it, so the monkey owns it. This led to one of the strangest lawsuits in modern copyright history. The group PETA sued Slater in U.S. court on behalf of the monkey. They named the monkey Naruto in the lawsuit. But here's the twist. The photographer said that wasn't even the right monkey. After years of court battles, the case was dismissed. No one officially owns the selfie. It's in the public domain now. So technically, the monkey took one of the most famous copyright-free selfies in history. And yes, somewhere out there, a monkey might still be wondering where his royalties went. The kid who sued Santa Claus. Once upon a very American Christmas, a kid actually sued Santa Claus. His claim? Santa didn't deliver the presents he promised. No toy truck, no candy, no PlayStation. So naturally, he wrote up a lawsuit. The case? Filed in his living room with his dog as judge. He accused Santa of breach of contract. His evidence? A letter to Santa and a cookie untouched. His parents? Confused but impressed. Santa, of course, didn't show up to court, so the kid ruled in his own favor. His sentence? One extra gift from each parent. The dog barked twice, court adjourned. The story went viral and sparked online debate. Was it satire, performance art, a cry for justice? Whatever it was, it made Christmas history. And somewhere up north, Santa double-checked his list, because even jolly old elves fear litigation. Moral of the story? Never promise a PlayStation, especially if your lawyers are imaginary. Merry litigating, everyone! The time someone sued God and what the judge said. In 2007, a man walked into a Nebraska courthouse and filed a lawsuit against God. The man was a state senator named Ernie Chambers. He claimed God had caused widespread death and destruction and should be held accountable. He wasn't joking. He filed the case to make a point about frivolous lawsuits. The judge dismissed the case because God didn't have a listed address to receive the summons. Chambers argued that, as an all-knowing being, God should already know he was being sued. News outlets around the world couldn't resist. Chambers' goal was to prove that anyone can sue anyone, even God, and maybe that's the real problem. The case was tossed. God didn't show up to court. So, can you sue God? Technically, yes. Will he answer? Don't hold your breath. Can you sue a corpse? The bizarre legal loophole. Imagine standing in court, trying to sue a dead person. Yes, this actually happened. The legal system has rules for suing people, but what happens when the person dies after the lawsuit begins? That's exactly what happened in a real estate case in 2007. A man was being sued for fraud, then died during the process. But the lawsuit didn't automatically vanish. Instead, the court had to decide if a corpse can be liable. Technically, you can't sue the dead, but you can sue their estate. The court redirected the lawsuit to the man's estate, which meant the plaintiff could still win damages, just not from the ghost himself. This legal twist isn't rare. Laws vary by state, but generally, if you sue fast enough, you can beat the reaper to court. But miss your window and you're stuck with a ghost. So yes, while you can't sue a corpse directly, you can sue their money. Because in law, even the dead leave paperwork behind. The man who sued the lottery for not letting him win. You know how people joke about suing the lottery when they don't win? Well, one man in New York actually did. Meet Robert. He believed the lottery was rigged because he never won. He filed a lawsuit demanding $10 million in emotional damages. His claim? That the lottery's randomness was unfair to him specifically. He argued that mathematically he should have won by now. The judge, trying not to laugh, dismissed the case immediately. But Robert wasn't done. He tried to appeal the decision twice. Eventually, the courts barred him from filing any more lottery-related lawsuits. So no, suing the lottery isn't how you win the lottery. But Robert's story lives on as proof that hope truly springs eternal. The burglar who sued the homeowner and got paid. You break into a house, you fall through a skylight, you sue the homeowner, you win. This isn't fiction. It actually happened in California. In 1982, a man named Carl Truman tried to rob a house in Los Angeles. He chose to enter through the roof by jumping onto the skylight. The glass shattered. Carl crashed 10 feet onto the floor inside. He broke his back badly. Then he sued the homeowners for creating an unsafe environment. The court, surprisingly sympathetic. They argued even trespassers are owed some safety. In the end, the homeowners had to pay Carl $50,000. So yes, a burglar sued the people he was robbing and got paid. It sparked outrage and a few jokes, but it also raised real legal questions about liability. If someone trespasses, are you responsible for what happens to them? In most states today, not really, but back then, different story. The case became a legend of absurd lawsuits, and it still makes people wonder who's the real victim. So next time you install a skylight, maybe add some bars. Too loud ice cream truck? This town went to court. It started with the jingle, a cheerful tune that never stopped. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, the ice cream truck came every day. Same route, same song. Some residents began to lose their minds. One claimed he could hear the tune even in his dreams. They asked the driver to turn it down. He shrugged, "It's tradition." So they took him to court. In court, the driver argued that without the jingle, nobody would come. He was basically a musical lighthouse. But the town countered with recordings, decibel charts, and sleepless testimonies. After hours of bizarre arguments, the judge issued a historic ruling: no more jingles after 7 p.m. The truck still drives the same streets, but now it does so in eerie silence, all because one too happy melody pushed a town to the edge.